Alrighty guys, it's time to do another knife review. I'm really enjoying doing these. I like doing it outside. It makes it a whole lot easier for me to film it, and even though there might be a little background noise, it's just more fun for me to shoot it out here. And I think that the quality of the videos are better. So anyway, today we've got an interesting knife to talk about. We have the Kizer, I forgot the number on it already, KI4450A2. Now, I would like to start off, as Nothing Fancy says, let's start off with some ground rules, alright? I am not against knives made overseas. I mean, I never dinged the lion steel on that, and this is made in Italy. That was a bad accent, whatever, just bear with me guys. You see right there, Italy. This knife, I think this is a great knife for the money especially. Spyderco Endura 4 FFG. This one is made in Seki City, Japan. To be honest, if the quality is there, I don't care about where it's made so much. Just because the knives that I currently own, are made in the USA, doesn't mean that's all I'm willing to buy. Even China knives, Riate or Riot, however Daniel Dang says to pronounce it, I think that's a great knife company. I think they really make some good knives, and they have a good product. And We Knives, that's a new company that's out there. And from what I've seen, I'm really liking their designs and what they're doing, and I think they're bringing a whole new element to the knife industry. That doesn't mean that there aren't those stereotypical China knives that I do greatly dislike, and Kizer is one of those. Kizer and Gonzo are the two main ones that I really hate. Alright, so let's get into the actual review of this knife. Sorry if you hear flapping, I do this time. I am a little prepared. I don't have any notes, but I do have a paper of talking points that I'm going to go over, and hopefully that will make this review more fluent, I guess. So let's talk about the materials of this knife. We have an S35 VN blade, and those of you that may be wondering, like I was whenever I became aware of Kizer, you may think, well, is that really S35 VN? And after sharpening it, it did sharpen like S35 VN does. So I don't doubt that the steel is S35 VN. It gets pretty sharp, pretty dang sharp. Maybe not as sharp as D2 or CTS XHP or that CTS B75P that's on the Southern Avo, but it takes a more than a decent edge, I'll say that. It's more than capable. The handles, the handle scales are G10. I don't really dig this pattern, some of y'all may do on the G10. I believe this is a limited edition Kizer that my customer Edgar has. I think that the price ranged around $140. Could be wrong, but that's what I believe seeing. It has titanium liners in there. I did test them with a magnet, and it has a steel spring clip and phosphor bronze washers. You can see some of the lube I put in there. I use Finish Line fluoro grease. I put that in this Southern Avo in case y'all were interested. So if you just look at the materials, they're not bad materials, and I think that's one of the reasons that people are really drawn to these knives. You get S35 VN and titanium for $100 40 bucks, and that alone, that's a pretty good deal. What I do not like, and this knife is not one of them, I'm kind of getting off topic here, but what the heck, is them copying American designs. What I mean by that is they have a knife out there that looks like a Todd Begg Bodega, and despite what a lot of people think, I don't think that Todd Begg collaborated with them on that knife. Because recently he started doing a collaboration series with the Riate, doing the Steelcraft, and it's not anything like what Kizer did, copying the Bodega. And they've also copied custom knives. They mostly copy custom knives. There were a couple designs that copied some that looked like a Hinder XM18. And there was, what is it called, the Jasmine or something? Anyway, they just copy designs, and I do not like a knife company that does that. I like original designs or collaborations. Alright, so let's get back on track here. The construction, like I said, it uses phosphor bronze washers. I don't like the hardware they used on the pivot. This, guys, is like a T11 or T12. I have a Weehaw torque set, and the highest, no, it's not even a T11, because I think the highest that the Weehaw goes to is T11, and that's way too small for this pivot. So I was not able to get in here and polish the washers or anything like I normally am, and I'm not able to fix and adjust the centering. So it's not really good. I don't think that you should do that. It's not as bad as what Microtech does. Microtech, you have to buy their own custom screws. I had a SOCOM Delta and had a problem with that, and it was really frustrating. It's not that bad because I'm going to assume that T11 screws are a little bit more common, or T12 I should say, or T13 are a little bit more common than the Microtech hardware. But it's like, for me, I just think they should have done something that's more accessible. Anyway, I do not know if these are shouldered by the looks of it. If you look in there, the pivots are not, or these standoffs are not shouldered, which means, like I talked about in the Avo review, over time you could have problems with locating and the handles lining up how they should. So that's construction. Oh, the pocket clip is mounted by 2 screws. Should be fine there. It is not. No, actually it is shouldered into the G10, which means that there's a little, like you can see on this side, there's a recess that the pocket clip fits into, and I gotta say, I like that in the pocket clip mounting. However, if you do that, I think you should do what Hinderer does, which is have a filler tab so that you don't have a void there. Because I just don't think, voids look good on the knife. I think it messes up the design. So we either just have it on one side, or if you want it to be reversible, I think you should have maybe just a little G10 filler tab. Let's talk about detail and design. The blade is stonewashed, and it's a pretty consistent stonewashing. It's very similar to what you'll see on, it's a cheaper stonewashing, I guess is what I'd say. But it doesn't look bad. It's just not the most effective stonewashing that will hide wear very well. But for looks, as far as looks go, it's okay. Pocket clip design, it looks like it's going to be very functional. It's a smaller pocket clip. It's not very long. That's perfectly fine. It doesn't affect the ergonomics of the knife, not that that matters. We'll talk about that. And it is reversible. The flipper and thumb studs, they work okay. They're not excellent in any stretch of the imagination. First off, whenever you go to deploy the thumb studs, what can happen a lot of times is when you throw your finger out, whenever the flipper comes by, your thumb will ram into that flipper tab because it's pronounced, and because of also your finger likes to run into the corner of this frame here because that's the way that it's designed. I mean, after playing with this knife a little bit, I'm able to get it down a little bit, but it doesn't make it a comfortable knife. It doesn't make it a comfortable knife to flip or play with. As far as the flipper goes, let's look at it. They did a pretty good job at milling. I mean, I'll give credit where credit is due. It's kind of sharp, but I haven't had any issues with it. It's not, of course, milled to the extent of the Avo, but it's not bad. I mean, I don't have it out here, but there's a Kershaw Oso Suite that I might review, and that flipper is terrible. It's just a really bad flipper. But we're talking about this knife, and I'll give credit where credit is due. It's not terrible. Flipping action, I mean, it's not a good flipper. You can get it out without any risk, but you really have to kind of push button it. Even, Hinders are known for being bad flippers. And even this little 3-inch XM18 with a medium detent. This isn't one of the ones with the heavy detent. I can flip it open with my thumb very easily. And this thing soars out of the handle compared to this. Like I said, it's not terrible. I can get it open without flicking the wrist, but you can't really pull stroke it. I did that there because whenever you pull stroke, you just want to pull back until you break the detent. And this knife, if you do that, you really have to give it dedicated. You have to build pressure in your finger and pull back with all your might. So yeah, that's getting more into execution, I guess. So let's back to detail and design, and let's talk about the lines of this knife. To me, the aesthetics of the knife aren't very pleasing. That's not to say they're bad. I mean, that just means that I don't particularly like them. To some people, whoops. Dropped the knife there. Don't worry, customer. It was mine. It was my Swiss Army knife. But anyway, knocked the tripod again. To some people, Southern Avo might be an ugly knife. Or maybe this, I know for sure, some people think that this blade, I love this blade shape. I think it looks gorgeous. I think it's very practical and utilitarian. But I know some people hate this design and they think that it's butt ugly. And I respect that. So for me personally, this isn't a very pleasing design. I think the blade shape is good. It's good for utility. It's going to be very easy to use that tip in whatever way you might want to. Moving on into execution, let's talk about ergonomics first. I've already kind of talked about action. So let's talk about ergonomics. I think this is a very poorly designed knife. I mean, are they supposed to have 2 fingers squeeze into this choil and then these 2 fingers squeeze into that one? Or are you supposed to land on the hump there and then your fingers land like that? Or are you supposed to choke back? I don't know. And this one's comfortable, but the blade is so far from your hand, and your fingers, that you really have no control over it.
I don't understand the ergonomics there. And I have about a medium-sized hand, guys. It's not large. But still, I mean, I don't get it. All right. So know that going in that you might have a little problem getting comfortable. I can kind of squeeze in here and put 2 fingers in this choil and 2 fingers in this little swale. And it's not terrible, but it's definitely not comfortable. It doesn't, where's a good knife? There we go. It doesn't, fit like a glove and just mold into your hand like some other guys do. That's one of the reasons why I like sorry, I don't want to reach over the camera again. It's one of the reasons why I like the XM18 is it's just super comfortable in the hand, both choking up and back. It's very well designed. Which is very interesting because the design part was done by Focus Tomcat knives, whoever they are. I don't know them. Maybe they do fixed blades or something, but I'm not familiar with that brand. Anyway, so Ergonomics are not the best, or very close to them. I already talked about action. Let's talk about lockup and lock geometry. As I said, titanium liners. Now, for me personally, I don't understand titanium liners as much. I know Browse Blades used them a lot. I know that they can probably save on weight, but I think there's more problems that come with titanium liners. First off, I don't know if they carbidized. Like I said, I wasn't able to get a part, so I couldn't tell. I don't know if they carbidized that lock face, but I do get some stick. And it feels like it's doing it less now, but that's probably because I've been doing it so much. It feels like it's scraping away some of the titanium as I'm unlocking it. And that has resulted, it had it whenever I got it, but this has a little bit of up and down play. A little bit more than the Southern Avo. Alright, and I don't think that that's because the pivot is messed up. I think that's just because it's a titanium liner lock that is wearing. Lockup does vary. You can see there that almost the full liner is engaged. It's about, what is that? Focus again. What is that, like 40% or something? Let's look at it now. Now it's a little less. So, not terrible. A lot of knives have that problem, but to me it's just, it could have been easily resolved with stainless steel liners. Blade play does have a decent amount of side to side. Not so much that whenever you shake the knife you can feel it rattle, but the centering is off. I think it could be fixed with just a simple pivot adjustment. Unfortunately, I do not have the tools currently. Keep hitting my tripod. Don't have the tools currently to fix that. But that's my little overview on the knife. Very limited on information since it's not my knife. I only know what I do from sharpening and from playing with it. Don't buy this knife, guys, please. Save your money for something with better construction materials. A ZT-0560 or 0450. That's what I was meaning to say. ZT-0450 has S35VN titanium handles. It's a frame lock, ball bearing flipper. Flips astronomically better than this. That knife is one of the best flippers I've ever handled, and it's like $30 more. The ergonomics are way better on that knife. And you're not supporting a company that likes to steal designs. So that's all I have to say on this one, guys. Stay tuned for more knife reviews and overviews, first impressions and the such, or in the like, whatever. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up. If you disagree, tell me why. I do have a sharpening service. I'll just show that off real quick. I mostly do $15 a knife unless it needs to be reprofiled. You're really going to have to send me pics for me to give you a good estimate, plus the price for return shipping. If you're curious about the process, or if you want to get your knives sharpened by me, shoot me an email at joeltwarren@gmail.com, or go to my Facebook page. I'll try to put the link in the description. Maybe YouTube blocks it sometimes since it is a Facebook link. It's a Facebook page. It's called True Sharp, so you can always just find me there also. But yeah, also if you want to see cool knife porn pictures, you can follow me on Instagram at jdubknives. And that's all, guys. Hope to see you on the next one.